Okay, we're live. Today is my first podcast. Haven't done a podcast before. Well, I kind of did, but it was at school, and I just kind of wanted to do it by myself as the first podcast, instead of doing it with someone else. So I'd like to start off the first podcast with just me. Yeah, so basically, these podcasts are going to be about conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And this conspiracy theory is going to be about 9/11. And okay, so I'm just going to get right into it. So if you don't know what 9/11 was, it was September 11th, 2001, I'm pretty sure. It was when two terrorist planes crashed into the Twin Towers, which were big towers in New York, and there's two of them. And one crashed into the Pentagon, and I think one crashed somewhere else. I don't even think it hit anywhere, but supposedly it was supposed to hit the White House. I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but I'm pretty sure. So basically, one plane crashed into one of the Twin Towers, and then after a while it collapsed, and they both end up collapsing, I'm pretty sure. But here's the thing. I believe there was bombs planted in the building because jet fuel is it's like a gel almost, and it's meant not to burn hot for that reason. So if a plane did crash into a big building, it wouldn't destroy the whole building. That's why it's made like a gel, so it doesn't burn hot. So people say, basically, oh, the plane crashed into the building and the fire melted the beams or whatever. But that wouldn't be possible because the jet fuel is built to not burn hot. And I believe there was bombs planted in the building because if a small, not really small, but yeah, a small plane, I guess you could say, wouldn't take down a whole building like that. Like, if you saw the size of the plane, the size of the building, it wouldn't add up. So I believe there was bombs planted in the building because there's one video clip that you can see right before the plane crashes, the explosion happens, then the plane hits. So it just makes sense for there to be bombs in the building because I think it was the guy that owned, I don't remember his name, but the man that owned the Twin Towers, a few months before, something like that, he put out a big insurance policy. So basically, he had insurance on the Twin Towers, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I think a couple other buildings in that area. And everyone that died in 9/11, he got paid for it. So imagine how much money that guy got made for that. So that guy probably had something to do with it because he was greedy and he wanted more money. It makes sense when you think about it. Be like, oh yeah, I own these two big buildings. I'm going to hire some guy to crash a plane into both of them. All these people to die. All these other buildings to get destroyed. And I'll get paid for it. And I'll give your family a split because you're basically just a suicide bomber, basically. So, I think it's, yeah, the Pentagon, I think it's called. One plane hit one of the Twin Towers, one plane hit the other, and then one crashed into the Pentagon. But I think something like the entryway, wherever the plane crashed through, it was either, I think it was too small for the plane, or too big for the plane. I don't remember what it was. I think it was too small for the plane. So the plane was bigger than the hole that supposedly made, which doesn't really make much sense. I believe that a missile or something crashed through, and they made it look like the plane, and somewhere else, I think it was the missile that was supposed to hit the White House or something like that. And this doesn't make sense at all. It crashed into the ground, and there was no survivors, no bodies or anything found, and very little debris. So, how does that make sense? Very little debris, no bodies found, but it was a plane. And very little debris. Where's the rest of the plane? Like, that just confuses me. Because you think, basically, the plane hit the ground, and then there was, I think, like a big mark in the ground or something, some debris spread out in that area. But no bodies were found, and then there was not even enough debris to add up to how big the plane was, which didn't make any sense. So, that probably was a missile, and then people thought it was a plane, maybe. There's one clip a YouTuber talked about, he also does conspiracy theories, Shane Dawson. I think he talked about this one. I don't know if it was him or another YouTuber that talked about this in conspiracy theories, but the planes, there was no planes, there was actually missiles, and then the government got hold of all the video clips and added in wings or something, and there's one clip of the plane, and just before it hits, you can see one of the wings glitches out, and that completely disappears for like a whole second, and then comes back. So it looks like it's animated or something, which is really weird, and I don't understand why the government would do that. Be like, yeah, it was a plane, and then having it end up being a missile. So I don't know. I think there was something more. There's a lot missing from this that we don't know about and that we should know about. Like, when you see the building collapse, there won't be explosions coming on the side all the way down. Because when you watch the clip of the Twin Towers falling, it starts to fall, explosion comes to the side, reaches down to where the explosion just happened, and then it just keeps going down. Like, why would there be explosions coming on the side if a building's collapsing? If a building was collapsing, it was going to fall straight down, not have explosions coming on the side. So, I believe there was bombs planted in on, like, every other level or something of the building. So, it would make the whole building fall down, so the guy would get more money or something for everyone being injured, being killed, and all the buildings being destroyed. And there's one video clip where this guy zoomed in on where the plane crashed into the building. You can see people falling and jumping out to their death from this big building, like from the top, which is really disturbing and awful for that to happen. Like, I wouldn't imagine, like, being a building and then having a plane fly through it and then having to, like, jump out. Like, that would be awful. And then there's one clip of a firefighter. He's talking about how it's, like, right after one of the planes hits or something. And the firefighter says, everyone get out, there's a bomb in the lobby, or something like that. Which makes perfect sense. Because if you were to blow up the building, they would probably blow up the first bomb in the lobby, then start from the top or something. Because if they blew it up from the lobby, everything would just collapse underneath it. So, I don't know what to think. Like, I don't know if it was the actual plane that crashed, like, that destroyed the whole building, or bombs. But I'm going with the bombs. It makes more sense. And even Trump said that there was bombs planted in the building. He firmly believes that there was bombs planted in the building. And also, like, others, like tons and tons and tons of other people believe there's bombs in the building. And I feel like the government doesn't want us to know about this because they don't want people to be like, oh, like, if that slipped out, to be like, oh, wow, so what else is the government hiding from us? Like, are aliens real and stuff like that? Like, if they slipped out, be like, oh yeah, 9/11 was an inside job, everyone would freak out, and then start freaking out even more, because they would think, well, the government's been keeping this from us for like 17 years. What else have they been keeping from us? So it just doesn't really make much sense. But, I'm going to end this video off here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like the podcast. I'm going to want to do more podcasts. But next time I do one, I'll have a guest on, and